Hello, everyone. My name is Brett, and I did my literature review on high intensity interval training for cyclists. So, what is HIIT? HIIT is a high intensity interval training program that utilizes a fast paced style of running to improve resistance in middle distance running. Various methods can be used, such as low volume and high volume training styles. Low volume consisting of high intensity interval training done about once a week, and high volumes include doing high interval training multiple times a week. For this review, I looked at the literature to see if a moderate type style of volume of high interval training can improve resistance to fatigue in cycling. So how can HIIT improve performance? At first glances, it can be seen that HIIT can improve performance from many changes within our body cells. These changes are mostly from our muscle, pulmonary, and cardiovascular systems. Adaptations that I've noticed are a wide range of physiological adaptations that include improved VO2 max, muscle fiber adaptations, and resistance to neuromuscular fatigue. The many physiological adaptations that are inside the body are done at an enzymatic level. From this study that looked at the appearance composition of myosin heavy chain from single muscle fibers, this was done by taking distance, mid-distance, and recreational runners. The goal of this study was to test and find the composition of these groups' muscle fibers. Enzymatic activities were also recorded within this study. It was found that distance athletes had an increased amount of type 1 fibers, while mid-distance had a higher type 2A fibers. And the recreational group had a hybrid mix between type 2A and type 2B. In the enzyme activities, it was measured to be very similar between the groups. However, distance group had an increased activity of enzymes citrate synthase, beta hydroxytyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase, while mid-distance showed more activity in phosphorylase. These enzymes were very important in the process of glycolysis, which helps create and sustain the body with energy. Lactate transport in the body is important and was found to be increased through higher levels of intensity and showed a significant increase from the high intensity training. The trained individuals who experienced this found to have higher levels of monocarboxylate transporters 1 and 4, which were seen to help transport lactate throughout the body. It was also noticed that there was an increase in enzymatic activities for phosphofructokinase, beta hydroxytyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase, and citrate synthase, as well as lactate dehydrogenase. These are supported by the studies found that show the effects of enzymatic activities during high intensity training. This can be described from the muscle's capacity of the aerobic combustion versus anaerobic glycolysis. So how does HIIT and VO2 max improve cycling ability? This is done because the enzyme activities are increased, which allows the body to function at a more efficient rate and allows to utilize energy much more efficiently. This is important for cyclists because of how long these individuals have to sustain a high intensity throughout a given race. It was seen that athletes at this caliber had higher VO2 max compared to their amateur counterparts. Another study saw that the subjects who performed high intensity interval training versus continuous had a higher time to exhaustion and small increases of VO2 max, but not significant enough to use as a foolproof method of training VO2 max. So the muscle morphology from HIIT has been seen to increase a lot of type 2A fibers, which give more power compared to the type 1 fibers. There was also seen to be resistance and neuromuscular fatigue that increased in one of the findings. It's saying that the high intensity interval training increased peripheral fatigue following the post-relative trial, meaning that the muscles were able to sustain a higher intensity longer than those who had continuous training. However, the increase of these type 2A fibers does not increase the performance in cycling significantly, as it is seen from the chart here that the international and team pursuit cyclists had a high level of type 1 fibers and very low levels of the type 2A fibers. So as it was said that the main muscle fiber type that was needed for these elite cyclists at a high level were the slow twitch 1 fibers. There's not much shown that shows that type 2A fibers have significantly increased cycling's performance. Those fibers have a higher mitochondria present in the cells, thus allowing for more energy to be utilized during exercise. This increase of fibers show that a higher amount of enzymatic activity is being utilized. As you can see from the elite cyclists compared to the competitive ones, they had a very significant increase in most of their enzymatic activities, as well as a big difference in their percentage of muscle type fibers. So in conclusion, from the literature, it can be stated that even though high intensity interval training can improve many aspects of cycling performance, it is not the one solution to becoming a better cyclist. From here, it suggests that the fascicle length and capitalization are important targets for training and optimizing sprint and endurance performance simultaneously. So having a training plan that improves the number of slow twitch fibers and their efficiency at transporting lactate and energy throughout the body can be beneficial in improving the cyclist's ability. But also having a low volume, high intensity interval training can improve the body's physiological adaptations to improve resistance for cycling. My references for this, and thank you.